If you told me when I started this save that we would have had back-to-back-to-back promotions, I don't know that I would have been okay with that. Actually, yeah, I do know. I would have been really okay with that. But now that we've had those back-to-back-to-back promotions, it's going to be a tough year. We are a very young squad. We've just turned professional. We actually had a decent transfer budget, some of which I actually got to spend to improve the squad. But staying up this year is going to be a task. My name's FM19, and this is the Ritornu Gloria with SC Bastia, episode 24. Now, the first screen I want to show you is the budget. And why do I want to show you that? Because we actually made a profit this month so far. 4,000 euros. We are in the black. We actually got a decent amount of money for League 2 television rights. As you can see, we have spent some of our transfer budget. We're still only getting 5% of the transfer revenue because our club finances are insecure. And we still got 5,000 euros to spend on the wage budget. And I upped the scouting budget as well, and we're scouting quite a bit now. Not that I have a lot of scouts to scout, but this is actually coming quite handy, and I will show you why. With us going into League 2, I asked the board to find us a lower club affiliate because of all those youth players I have. They're not going to get a ton of first-team playing time here. They came back with AS Friuli Agliani as one of the choices. That is actually the club my former assistant manager went to. And as you can see, I sent 3 players there on loan. The other outs, Keodi Kalu, who is a very young winger, went to Heartland, which is a club somewhere in Africa. I'm not quite sure. Sheikh Doumbia, who absolutely hacked me off last year with his performance at the end of the year with the red card and a couple other performances in games where he just 29 years old. I put him out there. Stade Malien picked him up for 30,000 euros. That's value for him. Seeing as how I got him on a free, I'm 30,000 euros ahead on that. Stephen Babutari, he always seemed to be away on international duty for Martinique. And then when he did play, he was okay, but he was nothing spectacular, and he was just taking up a spot on the bench, and I was paying him a decent amount of money to sit there. And with the youngsters I have and a couple of the other players that I brought in to get playing time, he started advocating for more playing time for himself. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to send you out on loan. Club Franciscan picked him up where they're playing all of his salary. Where are they at? I have no idea where they even are. They've got to be an amateur club. Semi-professional Club Franciscan in Martinique. So he's back in Martinique. And then the players out on loan, Pascal Maltese and Jean-Paul Massimi are youngsters. Jacques Onda was the defensive midfielder I brought in last season to get some rotation time, which at the time I signed him, he was happy with, but this summer he advocated for more playing time for himself, and I said, you're not going to find it here, let me send you out on loan, and AS Friuli snapped him up. On the ins, and we actually had a pretty successful summer transfer window, I think. Tony Tropiano actually came in, well, I'll be honest, he was a panic sign. When Florian Adriani broke his finger last year, I went out to try and find another keeper who was at least pretty good, and I was under the mistaken assumption that because my primary keeper was out, I could sign another keeper outside the transfer window and bring him in. I want to say it's the Joker rule. I know I have that wrong, but that's not what happened. Because I had Patrick Costa and a couple other youth goalkeepers on the roster, he ended up having to wait till the summer transfer window to come in, but he is now my primary backup. 2-star current ability, 3-star potential ability. Not bad. I can't understand why his natural fitness has gone down like that, because all I did in training in the off season was hit fitness and things like that. We did no technical training whatsoever. But he is a capable backup. He will get some starts. The first in that we paid money for, Rafael Amida from Gazia. I can never pronounce this right. Gazalek FC Ajaccio. They are our rivals. They're our derby rivals. 4-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, 27 years old. Okay physicals. He's a defensive center back. He's a no-nonsense defensive center back. He's going to sit back there and wait until you get in his space, and then he is just going to clobber you. Okay physicals, the natural fitness is nice, the stamina and strength are okay. I like his mentals. They are very much on the positive side. The determination is great, the concentration is nice, as is the positioning, teamwork, vision, and work rate. The technicals, they're good where they count. You know, I'm not worried about his forward dribbling. If he's driving the ball up the field on his left foot, it looks like, I've got bigger problems. But the 13 marking is nice, the 13 tackling is nice, the technique is okay, the heading and long shots, those are adequate as well. He also plays a decent defensive midfielder and can slide into the defensive left back if I really, really need him to. But he's also turned out to be a very good part of the mentoring group. He came in and immediately became second tier on the pyramid of our squad dynamics. And frankly, 4-star current ability, 4-star potential ability, he's better than any defensive center back I have at the moment, including my 2 youngsters. But one of the things I wanted to do was get a rotation going this season where I'm not playing both of them at the same time if I can help it. One of them will always start on the bench. They'll both get playing times in the games. They'll sub on for each other, or they'll sub on for Almeida here. But I don't want to run them down over the course of the season because we are playing a lot more games this year. Next in, and this was, I think, the steal of the summer transfer window. First, let me go here real quick. One of my signees this summer transfer window was Eduardo Maresca, who is from Italy. And when I signed him and he agreed to come on board, they have that box down on the bottom. Hey, make a suggestion. Frank Sajot. Frank is who he suggested. AC Milan player. 22 years old, 4.5-star current ability, 5-star potential ability. Got him for 400,000 euros, going up to 500,000 euros based on appearance fees and goals. I don't think he will ever be a full-time League One starter should we get to League One. But he should dominate in League Two. He is better than Sofiane Boris Bell. I've actually got a formation I like where I can get both of them on the pitch. He's a very good target man, a very good poacher, adequate advanced forward, pressing forward, deep line forward, can play false nine to pinch, can also slot in at the advanced midfielder left and right positions. Really good physicals. The jumping reach of 17 is outstanding. The stamina is a bit on the low side. I'm hoping I can train that up. The mentals are very nice where they count. 11 anticipation, 13 composure, 12 concentration, 12 determination, 12 flair, 13 off the ball. The positioning is horrible. I'm hoping I can work on that too. 11 teamwork is also nice. 11 finishing, 14 heading, 12 long shots. He's a long shot special. I don't want to say specialist, but he's taken an awful lot of them. And 12 technique. And as you can see down here, we've played 2 games this season. He has 3 goals. Sofiane Boris Bell couldn't start the first game because of the yellow cards he got last season. The second game, I have a formation. I got them both on the field. And he scored a goal and was just absolutely fabulous. I might have overpaid for him a little bit, but at the same time, I had a 1.29 million euro transfer budget. And if you look here, we have been selected by the pundits to finish dead last. So I don't want to finish dead last. I told the team we'd fight for relegate. We'd be in a relegation battle throughout the season. I really think we are. I wanted to do my best to avoid a relegation fight. I needed to get better up top. As much as I like Sofiane Boris Bell, and he is a very good lower league striker, he's just not that good for League Two. Frank is. I keep forgetting, one of the things they don't do on this is show released players. I released quite a few players. Matthew Graziani, Maxime Dubois, Clement Duchamps, Pomponi, Kissi, Latunji, and Masudi, and Petroni were all youth players who were just never going to develop. Romain Paletti was 32 years old and just declined. Alexander Kopanese was adequate at the advanced midfielder position, but I have better options there now. Nicholas Midori, he never got better. When I started playing, he was 22 years old. He was 2-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. After 3 years of training in that, some of his stats improved, but he never got better than 2 stars. And with the additions I brought in, he was surplus to needs, so I let him go. Jean-Louis Carlotti was a keeper that was just never going to amount to much. Thibaut Lorenzi, a defensive right back who 2-star current ability, 3-star potential ability, 24 years old. He just wasn't going to see a lot of playing time here in League Two. When I moved him to the reserve team, he pitched a fit, and I said, okay, you know what? I moved him to the reserve team at the end of last season. He pitched a fit, and I said, okay, you know what? You're gone. Remy Celia was my 31-year-old defensive left back who he fell off a cliff, physically speaking. He just could not keep up anymore, and he's not ready for the rigors of League Two. Montgomery, the yellow card machine that is Montgomery, solid, but I have better options now. He didn't want to sit on the bench, and I didn't want to pay him the amount of money he wanted to sit on the bench. I let him go. John Joseph Mizrazi was a player I brought in as part of the rotation. Got a couple of games in and just was unhappy with the playing time, so I let him go. And last but not least, Dorian Biancarelli, a youth keeper who I've got 4 or 5 of them now, all of whom are better. Frank Neptune. Is it Frank Neptune? Jacques Neptune is my youth keeper of the future. And the last in, Sasha Samoan from Bordeaux for 16,000 euros. He is a very good defensive right back who can play the right side really, really well. I needed depth. When the season started, I realized I only have one really good defensive right back because I let Cilia and the other guy go. And I went out looking, and he was available from Bordeaux. He was sitting on their under 21s, and I inquired, and they came back and they said 16,000 euros. I said, okay. 3.5-star credibility, 4.5-star potential ability, 20 years old, really good physicals. Quick, speedy guy, not the best stamina, not the best balance, but that's okay. The concentration's a little lacking, as is his off the ball and his flair, but I'm not too worried about that. Those I can train up. His technicals, they're okay. They'll get better as he gets older and gets more playing time. I suspect he will supplant Fofana as the full-time started here in short order once he gets fully match fit. I do like the 12 technique. The tackling and marking are adequate. The passing's nice. His first touch is nice. His dribbling's okay. Crossing can be improved too. The fact that we're a professional team now means we've got a full-time training calendar going on. For the most part, I play a controlled possession tactic, and that's what the training is. But what I tend to do is go in and add things like the defensive corners and things like that. One of the other things I also do is I add in match reviews after every game. I don't know why, but it seems the right thing to do. I think it's odd, though, and I will have to point this out. Say you have a game, like Red Star. You travel to Red Star, you travel back, you have your recovery session, then rest. Well, say you don't want to keep the guys late, and you want to have them rest. You can't change this to match review. It won't let you. Match review has to happen the day after the game. And speaking of games, we've actually been doing really well. I don't know why. I'm not doing anything different this season than I was last season, which is essentially set the lineup, click go, adjust on the fly from time to time. I'm still not playing with hardly any PPMs. I haven't changed the tactics all that much from my base 2. I added a third tactic, which I'll show you here in a minute. We didn't play exactly a full off-season schedule because one of the things with moving up to League 2 is that you start participating in the Coupe de la Ligue tournament in addition to the French Cup. So that's 2 national tournaments that you're playing in, and this schedule gets even worse once you qualify for European football. There are months where, depending on your schedule, you will have 9 games in 24 days. It's just insane. I wanted a pretty solid off-season training schedule. We played some fairly strong teams, and we did pretty well. Our first game in League 2 was against Clermont. And Frank announced himself to League 2 with a brace of goals. Clermont definitely was on the attack all game. 21 shots, 10 on target to our 13 and 8. But as you can see, Frank here, 2 goals, 2 key passes, 3 mistakes, but he's playing up top as a lone striker in this formation. That's to be expected, as he misplays a ball or that. Jolan Hamad got the goal for Clermont. That was a pretty solid game for us. And then came our first Coupe de la Ligue match against Red Star. Actually, what they did was they drew the first 2 rounds in advance. So it was, you're going to play Red Star, and then whoever wins the Red Star game goes up against the winner of the U.S. Orleans, whoever Orleans was playing game. This was an interesting game. It was a 1-1 draw. I was expecting us to go to extra time. Instead, we went right to penalty kicks. And they missed 2, and we missed 1. And it's odd, Almeida, who's actually pretty decent at free kick taking and penalty taking. An 8 isn't horrible, just totally whiffed it. But as you can see, Frank Diallo, a 34th minute goal, Jordan Fauscher, a 49th minute goal for Red Star to bring things equal. They had 8 shots, 3 on target. We had 18 and 7. And this was the 4-3-3 with the 2 defensive midfielders that I play from time to time. A lot of this was due to the fact that the reserve game happened the same day, and I forgot I forgot to sort the squad out beforehand. And so when the reserve team played, a couple of guys that I wanted to play couldn't play. So as a result, that's why Santini started. It also took place 3 days after the Tours game, so I had to rest a couple of players as well. That's why Frank didn't start. In between that, though, we played Tours. I can't believe I skipped over that. Our first televised game. That's one of the reasons we actually made a profit this month, was TV money. We shut Tours out 2-0. Frank had a goal in the 71st minute. Kevin Appen, a goal in the 87th minute. This thing, I have to show you this. He is my defensive midfielder, and I broke out. It's not exactly the Swiss Bolt. Actually, you know what? Let me go to that over here real quick. So this is the third formation I'm using this year, and I kind of sort of played it a couple of games last season as well. I played it in that game against Olympique Marseille where we lost 6-1. I hadn't really broken out then. This is kind of a variation on the old 5-3, what was it, 5-3-2-1 Swiss Bolt, but instead of the 3 and the 2 and the 1, you've got your 5, your 1, your 2, and your 2 up top. If I actually select the right players for this, let me do that here real quick. And this is essentially the formation. You've got your 3 in the back with Grescia Angelini playing a libero, so he should come up further to help support Parent, who's the box-to-box midfielder, is the only midfielder in the area. However, Inglaneria, Enzo, and Simone, Sasha. It's going to be a lot of first names going forward with, are the wingbacks on support, so they will go forward, but not too far forward, and they should also stay a little bit further back as well. Diallo is the winger on the left, Istria is the inside forward on the right, Frank as the target man on the attack with Boris Belt to the left. And this worked really, really well, the game against Tours. As you can see, we beat them 2-0. Go to the stats here. We had 18 shots, 12 on target. They're 12-3. Some of this is probably the fact that it's a formation that almost nobody plays, so they didn't know how to cope with it. But still, you cannot deny the fact that 75% of your shots are on target. It was just a really good game. Let me show you the app and goal here real quick. I don't know if this is I've seen this talked about since 19.3 came out. I don't know that this is a result of that, but because he didn't do anything like this last season. So Gillard has the ball, he lumps it forward, Appen jumps in front of it, and then drives forward, top of the D, absolutely buries it, upper right corner. It was just a fabulous, fabulous goal. I about fell in my chair because that's not really what he does. He got the player of the match, probably just for that alone. He had the one key pass as well. And his defensive work was pretty solid too. He came on in to replace Parent because he's actually a decent box-to-box midfielder. He's better at the defensive midfield position, but I didn't want to leave a huge gap in there, and he's adequate. So I think this is a formation I can use going forward quite a bit more, especially against some weaker teams where I'm resting a lot of my starters. That remains to be seen. Today, though, we are going to play Le Mans, who got promoted last season out of the National and are up with us. I think this will be an interesting game because I don't know exactly what moves they made in the summer transfer window. I'm going to look at that here offline in just a minute before we get to the match. And I think it'll be a good test to see how we're doing. They've also been tagged to go down. So, I don't know. I think if we do an okay job against them, maybe that bodes well for the future. Anyhow, like I said, I'm going to check out their summer transfer window and their roster. Then I'm going to set my best 11, and we'll come back with a match against Le Mans in just a bit. Well, and this is the squad we're playing today. The game just started, but I had it on TV view, and you couldn't exactly see this very well because of the transparency. So we are playing, well, Football Manager is calling a 5-1-4 wingback. It is the 3 defensive back, 2 wingback, 2 attacking midfielder, 2 striker formation. I have Adriano in goal, Almeida, Grescia Angelini, and Mariano as the defensive backs, Enzo and Sasha as the wingbacks, Parent as the box-to-box midfielder in the center, Diallo and Istria as the advanced midfielders, and Boris Bell and Frank up top as the strikers. Almeida. Oh, over the crossbar. And Bell picked up a yellow card. Of course he did. Frank. Off the long pass, bounces it off. Istria is there, drives forward, and his shot is just wide left. Corner kick in, Diallo. And Mariano is fouled. And he missed it. Oh, it rolled in. It bounced off the back of a Courvoisier and went to the goal. We're going to see that? Yeah, we might. Oh, it hit him and then it rolled right over the line. I was going to try and pause it to see if we couldn't get a better angle on that, but that's okay. Penalty kick in as I'm futzing around with the buttons. Gresham Angelini outside of the box kicks it off a Le Mans player. Denisa has it. Out to Crane on the left, and Mabala equalizes. That was a nice cross. Volleyed it right off Adriani's hand. Gresham Angelini, long pass towards Boris Bell, knocked down. Hafidi has it for Le Mans. Diarra over to Mabala, back to Diarra, across to Denisa, dispossessed by Gresham Angelini. Mariano back to Florian, who sends it up but too far. Simone up to Frank, cross it. Oh, you had Boris Bell there, dude. Come on. Corner kick in. Parent. Knocked down. Enzo's there. To Frank. Oh, come on. Crowd in the center. Gresham Angelini. To Sasha. To Parent. Diallo. Wow, that was a cross. Let's see this in the 3D. Mazaber knocks it away. Gresham Angelini to Sasha. Taps it back out to Parent, who one-shots it into Diallo, who just never stopped running. He snuck in on the backside there. And off the volley and in. That was well done. Just right before the half, too. It's always nice. 10 shots, 6 on target, 55% possession. Winning a lot of our tackles, a decent amount of our passes being completed. If it weren't for the fact we have a decent amount of space in the midfield, I'd play this a lot more often. And I suppose what I could probably do is actually pull Gresham Angelini up to the midfield, because he's actually a pretty decent midfielder too. And make this a what would they call it then? Well, it'd be a 2-2-2-2-2. Or, I'm fairly sure whatever I want to call it, FM will call it something completely different. 65 minutes. You know what? Corner kick. We're going to make a couple... throw-in, rather. We're going to make a couple changes after this. Parent drives forward. He's a very good young midfielder. Tries tapping it to Istria, but Mazaber steps in front of it and takes it away. He crosses out Denisa. Oh, knocked back and forth. And Boissier scores. Too many chances there. Sasha knocked it away, but Hafidi's there, and Boissier just turned around as Florian came out to try and intercept it. Okay, you know what? We're going to make a couple changes here. You know what? We're going to try that suggestion out. We're going to bring Boris Bell off, bring Pereira on, move Parent over, and bring Pereira in as a Mazzala on support. And then we're going to move Frank to the center as the target man on attack. I don't know that I like that so much because it takes actually a really good striker off the field, but we shall have to wait and see how it turns out. 10 minutes left in the game. 2-2. 14 shots, 6 on target for us, 12 shots, 6 on target for Le Mans. Only 3 minutes of extra time. Almeida taps it back to Parent, to Pereira. What the hell was that? Okay. It was a draw. It was a really good draw. Yeah, Angelini missed the penalty kick, but it bounced off Courvoisier and went in for the own goal. Now, I don't know that I would play that formation against stronger teams, unless it was something, to pull out of the back pocket and just kind of surprise them. Probably have to switch to a 4-2-2 or a 4-2-4. And that'll still get us our wing play and the 2 strikers on the field. I think we are going to come back for the Troyes game. That's 6 games away. Troyes is currently 3rd in the league. By dint of that tie, we are actually 4th. So Troyes is 3rd. We are playing Laurent and Auxerre in between. So, if A draw would be nice. I'm not holding my breath rather, out for a win. The goal is 17th or better this year. That's what we're aiming for. I think it's doable. A strong start like this will go a long ways towards that aim. We got a game against U.S. Orleans here in the Coupe de la Ligue coming up. I'm not really expecting to go far there. The board isn't expecting us to go far there. They want us to reach the first round, and they want us to reach the 10th round of the French Cup. We reached the first round of the Coupe de Ligue. We're in the second round. The board's happy with that. So anything beyond that's just gravy for us. Let me see something here real quick. Coupe de Ligue. No, we get 240,000 euros if we lose. If we make it to the third round and lose, we get 348,000 euros. You can make a decent amount of money should you win this. You get 2.5 million. The loser gets 2 million. And I believe the winner qualifies for the Euro Cup. So this is one way to kind of backdoor your way into to European football. So, and the nice thing is that if you've already qualified, your slot moves down. So you can get some really interesting results like that from time to time. You see it happen all the time in the English league, in the English leagues as well. So, not a bad game for us, not a horrible game for us. The more I think about it, the more we are likely to stick with our two primary tactics, the 4-3-3 variants. And we'll pull a Swiss bolt out every once in a while. I think, it may be worth it. It may be worth it to do something like that. Strengthen the midfield up some. If I change this to a ball-winning midfielder on support, we'll have to see. I wouldn't do that against stronger teams, though. Not by any stretch of the imagination. So, that said, we are going to come back for the game against Troyes. And hopefully we'll still be above water. If you liked what you've seen and heard, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content. Questions, criticisms, comments, leave those down below. I don't answer them as fast as I can. My name's FM19, and I thank you for watching the Return of Gloria with SC Bastia, episode 24.